Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. Hope you guys are keeping safe. Let's talk boxing. Canelo Alvarez is fighting Avni Yildrim February 27th. He's also signed a 2-fight deal with Matchroom and DAZN in the US. There are 2 reported opponents. Well, we know one of them, Avni Yildrim, and in May they're talking about Billy Joe Saunders. And I think it's a good move. I think the reason why he signed a 2-fight deal because Canelo's goal is to unify or become the undisputed 168-pound champion. And he can only do that by beating Billy Joe Saunders and Caleb Plant. So what he's thinking is, I've got to fight my mandatory in Avni Yildrim. It's a comfortable fight. I think he knocks Yildrim out 4 or 5 rounds. If that. I think if Yildrim comes to trade, I think he goes to sleep earlier. I don't think it's a competitive fight. I think it's a fight where Yildrim is going to get taken out, and then Canelo's going to go straight into training camp, most likely for a fight with Billy Joe Saunders. Now, he's fighting February, March, April, May. And I think will it be late May? I think it will be early May. So I think Canelo will have back-to-back camps. Could Billy Joe Saunders benefit from that? I don't think so. I think Canelo is going to be sharper, and that's why. And I think he doesn't think the Yildrim fight is going to be a tough fight. That's why he's having confidence that he's going to fight literally 2 months after. You know, literally have a week off and go back into camp. Now, Saunders, is he going to wait till May? Because I wouldn't want him to wait. I don't think he should wait till May, but I think he will, because he said that if he was going to fight in February, he was going to have an opponent announced last week. Billy Joe Saunders ain't fighting. All that talk about I'll fight Andrade, I'll fight this, he ain't going to do that. It's too risky. He knows Andrade's a risky fight. Now, he said he isn't waiting. He said, didn't Billy Joe Saunders say in an interview with IFL TV that he wouldn't wait for Canelo if Canelo's fighting him in May? But if it's finalized, would he take a risk, right, and jeopardize that fight? He's not going to. He's not going to. And I think the fact that if Billy Joe Saunders had taken the risk and fought in February and won, I think he would have been in a much better position going into that fight with Canelo in terms of how the fans would have perceived it. Now, he may not care how the fans perceive it, but if that fight's going to be on pay-per-view, just say, in the UK, it makes a big difference because it will do a lot more buys. Now, that fight is most likely going to take place in America, in the US, right? It's not going to take place in the UK. So are people going to stay up if it's on pay-per-view? Which, if I'm honest with you, I don't think Billy Joe Saunders is that big a draw where if it's on pay-per-view, I don't think it's going to do crazy numbers. And the fact that it's 4 in the morning, not many people are going to stay up for that. Even though it's a unification fight. Because firstly, I think a lot of people would think Canelo beats him quite comfortably. And his last fight was against Martin Murray. I just don't see that fight doing great numbers. I think if Billy Joe Saunders had a fight in February, which is not going to happen now, because I think it's too tight, and I don't think Billy Joe Saunders is going to take a risk fighting a tough opponent like Andrade and risk everything. He's just not. I don't think he's going to do it. I think he's going to wait till May and wait for the Canelo fight, which obviously I think when he said that I want to fight in February and I'm not waiting for Canelo, he was saying that bearing in mind that the fight wasn't confirmed. Now the fight we're hearing it's confirmed behind the scenes, and Canelo signed a 2-fight deal with Matchroom. Why would he sign a 2-fight deal with Matchroom? Who else is there for him to fight? Billy Joe Saunders is a logical opponent, and Billy Joe Saunders will be the guy that fights Canelo in May. But I like Billy Joe Saunders. I think he's got good skills. I just think he's been too inactive. A lot of people talk about his style, and listen, his style might cause Canelo problems, but there's one thing causing a guy problems, there's one thing beating him. You know, Canelo's too sharp, too good. And Canelo is smart because Canelo's thinking, I'll wipe my mandatory out in February, because he doesn't think Yildrim's going to be that tough a fight. Although he takes every fight seriously and he lives the life, and I believe he's gonna beat Yildrim in good style. And then I believe Billy Joe Saunders will be a fight he takes in May, early May, because I think he feels both fights will be potentially comfortable for him. Obviously, like I said, Canelo doesn't have that kind of mindset. He takes every fight very seriously, and that's why he is what he is, who he is. But if I'm totally honest with you, I think Canelo will unify probably the titles by May. Billy Joe Saunders again is going to be out for another 4 or 5 months. Now, he fought in December, but that was against Martin Murray. In a fight where he didn't look great, if we're honest. He didn't look that good against Martin Murray. And then jumping in against Canelo, levels above, and a guy in his prime, it spells disaster. Now, people think that he's got a right style to trouble Canelo. I just worry about Saunders down the stretch. Even if he is, that's if he doesn't get hit with something early on in the fight. And bearing in mind, if we go off the fact that, you know, his style will cause Canelo trouble, it's mainly down the stretch that I just think he'll tire and stamina will show up, because Canelo's going to put him under a lot of pressure. Because I don't believe that Billy Joe Saunders can hurt Canelo. And that's the issue. So Canelo, once he realizes this guy hasn't got power, he's going to start walking him down and start applying a lot of pressure. And when you've got that pressure being applied, it's not just how strong Canelo is physically, it's that mental pressure that he's putting on you. The fact that you're having to walk a tightrope and he's constantly on top of you, and breathing down your neck, that in itself can tire you mentally. And that's worse than the physical pressure that he's going to bring. It's the mental pressure of being switched on, you literally 24/7 all throughout the rounds. It's tough, you know. And when you know the other guy's got a big punch as well, he's a big puncher, and he's not just a big puncher. He's not Lemieux, a puncher, slugger that, you know, got slow feet that can be outboxed. This is a very intelligent boxer. He's got, his ring IQ is a lot better than Saunders' ring IQ, right? And he knows how to set up punches. He's very intelligent. He's got a lot of experience. You know, it's a tough fight for Billy Joe Saunders. It's a very tough fight. Very, very tough fight. And I just can't, Matthew Macklin gave an interview and he said he thinks Billy Joe Saunders' style could give him problems, but he just can't see anyone beating Canelo. And I just can't see anyone beating Canelo. I even think, listen, man, I go far as saying I think Canelo beats Beterbiev. I think he'll beat Beterbiev. I honestly think at 175 he'll beat Beterbiev. And people think Beterbiev knocks him out. I don't think so. I think Canelo knocks Beterbiev out. I think he's that good. Maybe not knockout, but I think he wins a point on points. And I won't be surprised. Beterbiev's been down. Callum Johnson put Beterbiev down. And don't get me wrong, Callum Johnson's a good fighter and he can punch, but Canelo's a different level to Callum Johnson. If Canelo was to fight Callum Johnson, who would you favour in that fight? You know, yeah, I favour Canelo to beat Beterbiev as well. So, listen, man, Billy Joe Saunders is a good fighter. I just think he's been very inactive. I don't think his career's been structured very well. And for me, this is going to be another Kell Brooks situation where the level is going to be stepped up massively. Even though I think Kell Brooks' step up was crazy. He was fighting Frankie Gavin, Jojo Dan and Kevin Bizier. Although he had beat Sean Porter, the three opponents after that were terrible. At least Billy Joe Saunders, Billy Joe Saunders hasn't been any better. He fought the YouTube guy. He fought, I can't remember, after Lemieux, his opponents list have been really poor. You know, and of late, it's been very poor. Like you would say, Martin Murray has been his best opponent for a while. He's been his best opponent, and that was almost a 40-year-old that was way, way past his best. And he didn't even look great in that fight. He didn't look great in the fight against a YouTuber. You know, so there's got to be self-doubt from Saunders going into a fight of that magnitude, because now he's jumping up huge levels, right? And it's a tough ask. It is a tough ask. And it'll be great to see Billy Joe Saunders do it and someone beat him, but I can't see it. I think Canelo's too good. I think Billy Joe Saunders is going to have to, some people say step up 1 or 2 levels. He's going to have to step up 5 or 6 levels. There's nothing Billy Joe Saunders has done in his career thus far that comes close to beating Canelo for me. He's going to have to step up massively in that fight. Massive step up. He's going to have to show how, he's going to have to bring out all the tricks that he's got, because Canelo's, he's a beast right now. He's a beast. He's got the momentum. and he's just a very good boxer, big puncher. His feet that I thought were slow initially a couple of years ago, they're getting better. He's becoming a better pressure fighter. And in this fight, I think Canelo will probably... I think Canelo's going to do what he did with Smith. Now, Billy Joe Saunders is a better mover than Smith. He's got better feet and moves around better, but Billy Joe Saunders gets hit a lot. If you look at the Murray fight, Murray tagged him a lot of times. You know, and most of the fighters that he's faced, apart from Lemieux, right? And Lemieux was a very limited fighter, like I've explained in many videos before. And I think his style was tailor-made for Saunders, right? I think everybody else, if you look at them, they have landed several punches on Saunders. And Canelo is too good a boxer. His ring IQ is very, very good. I just don't see how he's not going to be landing several punches. And I think the difference between with all the other guys that were landing on Billy Joe Saunders and Canelo's going to be making a huge dent in Saunders. He's going to be landing body shots, head shots. And I don't know whether Billy Joe Saunders has got a great chin that he's going to be able to take Canelo's punching power. I still don't know, because I haven't seen a big puncher really land on Saunders. I've seen him wobbled against Shifat Asufi, and again, Shifat Asufi is not Canelo. Apart from that, the level of competition that he's fought, they're not been really huge punches, apart from Lemieux, who didn't land because Billy Joe Saunders was too good. But again, we can't compare Lemieux. I can't compare Lemieux to Canelo, because Lemieux is a limited fighter. He's very slow feet, whereas Canelo's not Lemieux. He knows how to set up his punches. He knows he's going to land, right? And even if he's not landing to the head, he's going to be landing a lot of body shots. And that, for me, is going to be a huge problem, because that will slow Billy Joe Saunders down. As Teddy Atlas says, putting water in the basement, that will slow down the legs. And that's what's going to be a concern for me, is when Canelo starts landing body shots. Because Canelo's going to know he's a mover. Canelo's going to be throwing body shots, looking to land a lot of body shots to slow him down, to slow his movement down. And then Billy Joe Saunders will become more of a static target. And then he'll let his hands go. And that's why I think that Canelo will win, because I think he's been too active. He lives the life. And I think Saunders, you need to be a big puncher, and not a big puncher where you're able to keep Canelo off of him. You know, a lot of people say, "Oh well, Mayweather wasn't a bit." Mayweather's different. Like, we can't compare Mayweather to anybody. We can't compare Mayweather to Saunders. We can't. It's not comparable. It's stupid. You know, Saunders is nothing like Mayweather. You know, so like I said, to be honest, if we're going to compare anyone, we're going to compare Lara to Saunders. And for me, Lara's a way better boxer than Saunders. Way better boxer. Way slicker, way better. He's technically way better. You know? And I don't know whether... I think Lara's a lot harder to hit as well, from what we've seen from their careers. You know? So, if I'm honest with you, and Canelo landed a lot of shots on him. A lot of body shots. And he's a lot slicker. A lot faster as well on his feet than Saunders, in my opinion. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a tough fight for Billy Joe Saunders. But, like I said, it's a fight that I want to see. I want to see whether Billy Joe Saunders can prove me wrong, can prove many of the boxing public wrong. Because many of the boxing public don't give him a chance. But that's when we find out how good he really is. Because so far, the opponents haven't been great after he's won titles. It's not been great, you know, and this will be the best of the bunch. So we'll find out how good Billy Joe Saunders is. Even if he puts in a great performance and loses, you know, he'll still be considered a great fighter, because he's put in a great performance. As long as he doesn't get blown away like Callum Smith did, you know, where it's just completely one-sided, then, you know, we're in for a fight. We're in for a good fight, because he has got certain attributes that can cause Canelo trouble. It's just whether he can put it all together on the night and beat him. That's going to be a problem. But what do you guys think? Canelo set to face Avni Yildrim, and then it looks like Billy Joe Saunders straight after. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And guys, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.